Hello, and welcome back. This is Coach Vic. This is Finding Your 40 through the Success Puzzle. I want to thank you guys for coming back, continuing to follow along with the series, continuing to like, share, and subscribe to videos, continuing to encourage me and sending those encouraging emails. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for all that you are doing to push this channel forward. I really thank you guys for the opportunity to be able to present this information to you in the way that was given to me, and just allowing it to saturate our mind and our hearts, to get our mind heart connection, our brain heart connection connected together, to get our beliefs and our behavior lined up and properly aligned, so we can walk in the greatness of who we're supposed to be. I just thank you guys for continuing to encourage me and to push me along as I continue to present information, to allow you guys to be able to move forward and be stronger in who you are, developing character and the content of our character. Today we're going to talk about awareness. We talked yesterday about success and what success is. We talked about success being a progressive realization of a worthy ideal. And so I want now for us to really begin to drill down on what it is we're really looking into, how we're really trying to get to where we want to go, and the components that are required for that. We dealt with the four different components yesterday. We dealt with progressive and realization. We dealt with worthy and ideal, and got a good picture of what those are, and what those mean to us. And so now we're going to continue to move in the forward direction, continue to extricate from the text more about what we're supposed to be doing, who we are, and how we can continue to have that sustainable success. And so today we're going to talk about awareness. As we proceed through this program, it will become apparent that everything we need that is required to live the life we choose to live, we already have around us. All that is lacking is our awareness of it, the awareness of the abundance which surrounds us, waiting for our acceptance. So this is really important when to understand this. It says all that is lacking, that is our awareness of it, of the abundance which surrounds us, waiting for our acceptance. And so the reality is, the only reason why we're not stepping into our greatest version of ourselves is because we have not accepted the greatest version of ourselves. Once we begin to accept the greatest version of ourselves, we will begin to recognize everything around us that is built into our environment, built into our ecosystem, to help us to grow, to prune us, to garden us, and help us to be de-weeded, so we can grow in a healthy environment. We can continue to bloom and prosper in areas we're supposed to bloom and prosper in. And so it's very important for us to understand that the only reason why we're not there yet is because we have not recognized who we're supposed to be, the greatest version of ourselves, and what it's supposed to be, so we can look around and see what is available to us as we're moving and growing. This is really great, really good stuff. This is good stuff. Everything in our material world is merely the manifestation of what is taking place in our mind. Everything in our material world is merely the manifestation of what is taking place in our mind. And so we have to really, as you begin to think about things, as you begin to ponder things, as you begin to allow things to disturb your mindset, or disturb your peace, or when you can't sleep at night, all those things that are going on in your mind are manifested in the things around you. And so whatever self-doubt you're dealing with, whatever frustration you're dealing with, you're going to see the appearance of those things in your material world. There there are only two sources of reference which man goes to when we begin to study life. One is theology, and the other one is science. Under serious research, both of those areas reveal and agree that nothing is created or destroyed. Therefore, everything we will ever need is already here, if not in one state, certainly in another. It is our awareness that we are seeking. There's that word seeking again, or relentless pursuit. The word seeking is our awareness we're seeking. So we are not really seeking success. We're seeking the awareness of the things around us that will help us to find the ideal of success. And so as we talked about that before, about seeking being a relentless pursuit of an idea. Of relentless pursuit is not an object, it's not a tangible item. It is a relentless pursuit of an ideal. So we have to look at this seeking, as us getting to a place where at some point we cannot rest, we cannot sleep, we cannot eat, we cannot think about anything other than the one thing that we're trying to get to, and that is success, and success and happiness. We talked about yesterday about success and happiness both being two lanes on the same highway, taking us to where we want to go. They kind of go hand in hand. People who are successful normally have a genuine feeling of happiness. People who are happy normally have a genuine feeling of being successful. What their version of successful is. It's not success is not a identifiable thing for everybody. It is different. It is thought of differently depending on who you are, depending on where you live, depending on your background, and depending on what your ideals are. And so it's not going to be the same for everyone, but nevertheless, we're going to get on the right track to be able to do the things we need to do and think about things we need to think about in a way that's going to give us an opportunity to be repetitive and also be consistent. Whew, yes, yes, yes. We must we must pursue understanding of what is in us, so so we can better understand and be aware of what is around us. Uh, this concept seems simplistic, but don't miss the value due to the perceived lack of complexity. One of the barriers of continual success is perception. Perception is the ability to see, hear, or become aware of something through the senses. Also, the way in which something is regarded or interpreted. And so, when we look at perception, and we talk about this, sometimes when things are very very easy, or seem very very easy, or seem very almost like childlike, we have the tendency to believe that those things are not, that there's no, because there's no complexity to it, that there's no real benefit from it. And this is the wrong way to look at things. This is the wrong way to perceive this particular topic. And so let us understand that just because it's not complex does not mean it's not beneficial. Just because it's not complex does not mean it's not going to work. Just because it's not complex does not mean that we're not going to be able to get the full value of seeking out our success and being able to find it, and then interpreting it the proper way, and then being able to understand what it is we've sought out and what we discovered, and then be able to take meaningful steps toward progress towards that. And so we have to really begin to just think about the things we're doing and how we perceive things, because that is going to be ultimately how we end up deciding, or as a deciding factor of how much success we're going to have, and how consistent and repetitive our processes are going to be as we go through this success puzzle. The thick person in this program has the conscious mind at the top and the subconscious mind is next, and they both feed into the body. Both feed into and receive feedback from the body. These are three basic parts of the human personality. The stick person can the stick person concept can reveal to you a wonderful world of power, possibility, and promise. The Bob Proctor programs are built on the premise that we have a power within us that is far superior to any condition or circumstance around us. No, so this is the thing we have to understand, that every situation that we find ourselves in, every situation or circumstance that we have been thrust into, or that we walk into, or that we happen to be in the middle of, we have the ability on the inside of us. We have the power on the inside of us that is greater than that situation. The problem that we have is that we don't see ourselves in a way that makes us understand the concept that we're greater than everything around us. And this is the same thing when you think about the Bible. When you think about back in when Moses was leading the people to the promised land, and they got to Jericho, and Moses sent the spies out, and the spies went, and they came back, and the 10 spies talked about how good the food was, how big the food was, and how everything was. But then he looked and he talked about the people, and he said the people were like giants, and we were like grasshoppers to them. It's so funny how we end up looking at somebody else and then assuming what their mindset of us is. We assume that just because we see ourselves a certain way to them, that they see us the same way that we see ourselves. And this is what happened with with the 12 with the 12 spies. The 10 of them said one thing, the other two said no, there's something different. But the people chose to listen to the majority, and they ended up spending 40 years walking around the mountain in the desert. And so we have to understand that part of this concept, part of this premise is that the power within us is greater than anything around us, but we have to be willing to see ourselves in a way that will allow us to understand that no matter what happens to us, we're going to be successful. And we have to continue to walk in that success. We have to continue to believe in it. We have to continue to speak it in our mind. We have to continue to hold it in our heart. We need to have the right brain heart connection, the right brain heart alignment, so that we can continue to move forward. And our thought process and change into a process of growth and a process of abundance, and rather than scarcity and rather than lack. So the thing we have to really be willing to understand is that we have to take hold of that we are greater than everything around us. We are greater than everything around us. We have more powerful than everything around us. We have the more ability than everything around us. But we have to be willing to see ourselves that way, and then be willing to align our thoughts and our behaviors, our beliefs, our belief system, our value system, and our behavioral system all have to work together so we can begin to perform in that manner. Performance is just the execution of belief and effort. That's it. That's it. This is the reason the condition of our mindset is so vital to our success. Growth versus stagnation, scarcity versus abundance. Our mindset guides our perception, and our perception directs our thought processes. And with free will and thoughts, direct this power to whatever results we choose in the lifetime. And so, when you begin to understand this, we talked about the mindset. We talked about having a growth mindset versus a stagnation mindset, having an abundance mindset versus a scarcity mindset, and understanding that because our free will actually operates under our thought process, and our thought processes directly affect the power of our result, directly reflect the power of our outcome, directly reflect the power of our outcome. And so when you begin to understand that your input your output or your outcome is a direct result of your heart posture and your mindset, then you'll begin to understand how to better align the two of those together, so that we can begin to move in a way where we move in the power and the authority that we have inside of us, and then everything around us must submit to our will, because of the fact that we are more powerful than everything around us. And so this power is only activated by our growth mindset, because it works in opposite if we have a scarcity mindset or mindset of lack. And through that, you begin to see the introduction of fear, of heaviness, of frustration, of aggravation, of lack of self-esteem, lack of self-confidence, lack of self-awareness. All these things operate in the exact opposite of what we're desiring, because we've let the wrong mindset, the scarcity mindset, or the mindset of lack, or stagnation, take over and rule and guide our thought processes. And so we have to be willing to take that step back and say, okay, I'm better than this, I'm bigger than this, I want more than this, and so my effort is going to be more. When it's going to match what my outcome, what I want my desired outcome to be. So let us dive deeper into the three parts of the personality. We're going to get into the conscious mind today, and then next week we'll dive deeper into the conscious mind. We'll also dive into the subconscious mind and the body on the next not next week, but the next segment. But we're going to get into the conscious mind today, so we can kind of get an idea of just what the conscious mind is, and then we'll go deeper and further into that on the next segment. This is the conscious mind. This is the part that thinks, reasons, our free will, and our free will lives here. This is the part of our mind that will decide which of the changes required to live the type of life which we want to experience. The conscious mind can also accept or reject any idea. No person or circumstance can cause you to think about thoughts or ideas you do not choose. This is important because this reminds us that every thought is a seed, and also each thought comes from a seed. Therefore, what manifests and grows depends on how we till and manage our garden. So this was so powerful for us to understand, is that no one can force you to think you're less than. That's something that no matter what happens, no matter who you're talking to, or no matter what the situation might be, it is your perception of you or your perception of the other person that forces you to think that you're less than. Nothing that they say, nothing that they do can force you to think that way. You can reject anything that comes out of somebody else's mouth. You have the ability to reject it or accept it. And it's up to you, it's up to me, it's up to you to decide whether you're going to accept it or reject it. And once you make that decision, everything from that point on is literally fruit bearing seeds. It is fruit bearing seeds, and the fruit and the seeds bear fruit, and then the fruit bear more seeds, and then and it just continues to be a cycle. And so this is the reason why we talk about finding your point. It's the reason why we talk about the mandate and the purpose, and talking about vision and goal actualization, because you have to get to a point where you can function on a level that allows you to be able to accept and reject thoughts and ideas from other people that might consider you to be less than them or less than who you really are. And remember, we talked a little bit. And and someone said, and we talked about someone asking you, who do you think you are, and then the answer to that question is not, well, and then explain yourself to them. You ask them, who do you think I'm not? And and that way you can force them to think long and hard about not only about who you are, but about their perception of you as well. And that gives you the opportunity to always stay on the have the upper hand in those kind of conversations. And it's not about being brash or cocky or anything like that. It's about being self confident and walking in the power of your self confidence, because you are meant to be better than, greater than, and stronger than, smarter than, whatever your desire is, than you are right now. And this is the reason why we're going through this program together. So powerful, so powerful. And so all pain, pleasure, and limitation is either originated with the conscious mind or accepted uh, uncritically from an outside source. And then this is the thing we have to understand, is that these processes, these seeds that we're talking about, come from outside sources. When somebody says something about you, uh, you accept it uncritically. You don't uh, value yourself enough to actually critically think through those thoughts, those words, and begin to move yourself in a position where you understand your value, where you begin to speak out your value to others. And this is the reason why we end up allowing people to push us around with their words, with their emotions, with their ideas, because we don't see the value, we don't see our own self value. And this speaks back to the environment and the ecosystem we discussed, and how the ecosystem becomes an echo chamber for our growth and development. It is important that we surround ourselves with growth-minded people who are constantly seeking growth and desiring increase. Therefore, they will feed into our growth and ensure we develop, to ensure our development towards the increase in the ecosystem is positive and mutually beneficial for all. And so this is where we're going to stop. But I really want to help you to understand that right now, as we go through these processes, our ecosystem and our value system have to line up with our purpose. We can't allow people in our ecosystem who are not moving in the direction we want to go in, who don't have the same like mind, same like attitudes, and don't have their own personal self-esteem, because they're going to end up tearing down anything we try to build up. And so with that, we need to understand that as we're moving forward, everything about us must move forward, it must be forward, it must be about growth. And that's some way we're going to be successful, because we have to be able to repeat and duplicate these processes over and over and over again. This is Coach Vic. This is Finding Your 40. Thank you for joining me. Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for all the new subscribers that are subscribed to the channel. I love you guys. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. God bless you, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.